to Malaysia. With dynamic cities, fabulous food, beautiful beaches, idyllic islands, and national parks with wildlife-packed rainforests. All of these can be found in Malaysia. As you all know that Malaysia is one of the countries in Southeast Asia, and in this video we're going to cover 3 main points related to Malaysia, such as general characteristics of Malaysia, current events, and ASEAN-relevant issues of the country. So let's get started!
First, let's take a look at the geography of Malaysia. Malaysia is a country with a total area of 329,847 km squares. It consists of 2 geographical regions divided by the South China Sea. The Peninsula Malaysia, West Malaysia, located on the Malay Peninsula bordered by Thailand on the north and Singapore in the south. Malaysian Borneo, East Malaysia, located on the northern part of the island of Borneo in the South China Sea, bordering Indonesia and Brunei. Now, let's take a look at the politics of Malaysia. Since Malaysia got full independence from Britain in 1957, Malaysia has been governed by a coalition of a political party called the Barisan Nasional. However, for the first time in the Malaysia history, in the general election, which was held on 9 May 2018, the election was won by Pakatan Harapan, an opposition party led by Mahathir Mohamad, who had already been Prime Minister of Malaysia from 1981 to 2008. In the late February, Mr. Mahathir threw the country's politics into turmoil because of his resignation. So the king chose Mr. Muhyiddin Yassin as the new Prime Minister from the 1st March 2020. Malaysia is a multi-party federal parliamentary monarchy, including executive branch, legislative branch, and judiciary branch. Malaysia is the country with the growth of economy, so Malaysia has successfully diversified its economy from agriculture and community-based to robust manufacturing and service sector. Malaysia agriculture contributes 7.5% of the GDP and is the second main producer of palm oil and the 5th largest exporter of rubber. The industry sector, Malaysia contributes 38.8% of the GDP and is one of the world's largest exporter of semiconductor devices, electronic goods, and appliances. The service sector contributes 53% of GDP, which is mainly due to healthcare, transportation, distribution, trade, and tourism. Malaysia is a multicultural society with the Malays, Chinese, and Indian living side by side. The Malays are the largest community. They account for 62% and they speak Bahasa. They are responsible for the political fortunes of the country. The Chinese is around 20.6% and they are dominant in business community. The Indians is around 6.2% and they live on the west coast of the peninsula. The others are accounted for 0.9%. In Malaysia, the official language is Malay, but English is used to communicate daily by different communities and is considered as a language of institution in higher education.
The second part is about current events that related to Malaysia. One of the famous international controversies that involve Malaysia is called Petra Branca dispute. After seeing this, you might wonder, what is Petra Branca? Petra Branca is a small granite outcrop located 46 kilometers east of Singapore and 14.3 kilometers south of Johor, Malaysia. But why is it related to Malaysia? Because it was a territorial dispute between Malaysia and Singapore. It started in 1979 when the director of Malaysia published a map indicating Petra Branca to be its territory. However, in response, Singapore delivered a diplomatic note on 14th February 1980 requesting the map to be corrected. From then, the territorial dispute began. The dispute was then brought to the ICJ in 2003. For your information, ICJ stands for International Court of Justice. However, on May 23, 2008, ICJ awarded sovereignty over Petra Branca to Singapore and Middle Rocks to Malaysia. Since then, Case closed. But why is Petra Branca appearing in the newsfeed again? Because in 2017, Malaysia filed another application with the ICJ to review the judgment again. Unfortunately, in 2018, Malaysia its own decided to close the case. Why? Because the two cases were filed when Malaysia's former Prime Minister Najib Razak was in power. But he then was ousted by Dr. Mahathir in general elections in May 2018. Malaysia, under its newly elected Premier Mahathir Mohamad, withdrew the two applications. Then everything is done. And that's all for the current events related to Malaysia.
So now let's move on to Malaysia relevant issue in ASEAN. Out of all the challenges Malaysia has been facing so far in ASEAN, Rohingya genocide is one among of all. But before we get through every detail of the issue in Malaysia related to ASEAN, we have to acknowledge who Rohingya is. So Rohingya is a Muslim ethnic minority who is originally known inhabiting in Western Burma, or currently so-called Myanmar, which is one of the ASEAN members countries. Rohingya has been described as one of the worst persecuted minority. Concerning the Rohingya crisis, it is a very dramatic long story due to the distant religiosity and social differentiation between Muslim and Buddhist group in Myanmar during World War II. Their military crackdown emerged throughout the state, which led the loser Rohingya Muslims to unpleasantly get ignored and brutally tortured by Buddhist counterpart. In 1982, the tiny state was officially kicked out of most of the ethnic group in Myanmar, and as a result of the denial, all of the Rohingyas got to face some sort of different harsh treatment, torture, and traumatic savage killing. No longer bearing the task burden, the massive Rohingya citizens illegally fled to other neighboring countries in ASEAN, such as Bangladesh, Thailand, India, and many other countries in North Asia. And Malaysia has been aware as one of the most overflowing one of this small ethnic group. Throughout the harrowing ordeal occurring to the Rohingya group, Prime Minister of Malaysia Najib Razak could not bear the situation, then decided to lead a rally protest against the Rohingya genocide at the end of 2016. The reason Malaysia take part in this problem, first because of the same religion, and second, perhaps the scale of being overloaded and taken. In the course of the demonstration, however, Malaysia has been quite resentful to the non-action and silence of Myanmar Prime Minister toward the issue. And later on, the relation of these two countries has become quite mutually strained with one another until the present day. So now that is the end of our video. Thank you for watching.